we have to take away the defense of Bryce Young saying that he needs help. Because the defense scored a touchdown.
That they did.
Because your defense played really well against the Vikings. Because the big fumble that you gave up a touchdown when you were on offense was one that kind of falls on Bryce Young. Even if you want to argue that the blockers were bad, I have to go back to remember the Titans and say your blockers were bad. Your blockers don't have anything to do with holding on to my football. How many feet are in a mile, Petey? I want you to pick up this football and run every one of them. Bryce Young, frustrated with himself, and he says so here.
Just frustrated myself, definitely stuff that I want back, but, at the same time, I have to do a better job of being that same guy on the sideline. Sometimes emotion comes out, and then, you got to go to the next play. And, again, for better or for worse, do a better job of keeping that stone face regardless. But just mad at myself for stuff. There's always plays you want back, but, it doesn't carry over. You have to have short-term memory. You have to be able to turn the page and move on.
Okay. First of all, I saw reports that he slammed his hand down on the bench when he got to the sideline, which, I mean, for Bryce Young is the equivalent of he went to the sideline and lit off TNT and went full Antonio Brown and took his shirt off and did jumping jacks. He was very emotional. I get it.
At least he didn't flip off the fans.
He didn't. Small victories. At least he didn't flip off the fans. Listen, the coaches are not helping him with the play calling. We'll get into it. The wide receivers are not getting open nearly enough. We can get into it. The offensive line and running backs were not on the same page multiple times on big plays that left unblocked defenders. Dennis and I sat at my desk today and replayed a bunch of the sacks, and it's obvious, right? When you have 6 guys to block 6 guys. When they're blitzing 6, you have 5 linemen and a running back. The communication between the 5 linemen and the running back have to be perfect on who's picking up who, and it was not that. We can talk about it. But the thing that stands out the most to me after watching that game is that Bryce Young's internal alarm clock is wonky right now. And his fundamentals at times are falling apart. And he's not the advanced mental guy when it comes to football IQ that we assumed he was. Why is he bailing before he should on some plays where he has a pocket and he's trying to get out? And then not bailing on other plays when the pocket's collapsing and he needs to get out. It's And by the way, this is where every former quarterback in the media criticizes, and then you go find a million plays. It's hard, okay? It's not easy to have that eyes in the back of your head where your eyes are downfield, staying on the defense, staying on the route concepts, and you have to move in the pocket based on what you feel, and he's really, really struggling with this. He's really struggling with Taylor Moton, the right tackle, is being driven back. But Taylor Moton is still between Bryce Young and the defender. So I can ride this one out a little bit. Instead, he bails. Meanwhile, if somebody gets on the side of a blocker, that's when you have to bail. That's when they're going to be able to run around him. It's the fundamentals of how long can I let this play develop before I have to do something special. And it seems like the plays where he doesn't have to do something special, he's trying to do something special. Mm-hmm. And the plays where he has to do something special, he's trusting his teammates. Why? Simple things. Go back and watch some of the sacks, some of the plays that didn't work out. He's square to the line of scrimmage. His shoulders are parallel to the yard lines. Mm-hmm. So it'd be, his chest is facing where he's supposed to throw. Go try to throw that way.
Yeah.
Just go out into your front yard and face somebody chest to chest and try to throw. It's hard. Now do what you've seen a million times before, right? Turn your shoulder, have your off shoulder pointed. I mean, unless you're going to go ahead and be like Caleb Williams or one of these guys that throw from every different kind of platform, you're not going to be able to do it. And by the way, Bryce Young is not that guy. You didn't draft Bryce Young thinking he was going to be the most advanced physical specimen, like he was going to be making throws that no one else could make. You didn't draft him to be that guy. You drafted him to be the guy that wouldn't have to make the plays no one else could make because he knew where to go to find the easy one. The progression and the improvement and it's just not there. And everybody should take their piece of the blame, but that includes Bryce. Right? I said this earlier. I said this after his very first game as a starter. Mm-hmm. Game number 1. He made the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
Threw 2 interceptions to Jesse Bates on very similar routes. He was baited into it by Jesse Bates the exact same way. And I went, wait a second. I thought the thing that he brought to the table was he never made the same mistake twice. We're now 3 starts, 4 games into his career because he had the one he sat out with the injury. We're seeing the same mistake pop up more than twice. We're seeing the same mistakes pop up like they have to be taught out of it, right? They have to be hammered out of it in practice or in film or in game experience, and that's not why you drafted Bryce Young, right? If I would have told you, hey, after 4 weeks, there's going to be more things you have to work on than there was at the beginning of the year, like in perception, you thought you were good, but there's more, I would have said, all right, take Anthony Richardson. If I'm going to be building guys up and I'm going to be hammering bad habits out and I'm going to be making some decisions that put me in harm's way, well, give me the guy that's 6'4", 240 and runs a 4.4. If I'm going to be fixing guys, I might as well fix the one that has the highest ceiling rather than the one that's 5'10", 195 pounds. By the way, every time I say his weight, I do like it fluctuates. I feel like that's how it actually is. I go from like 192 to 202, anywhere in between.
It's very relatable.
So today he's 195 in my book. Looked like he played a hard game over the weekend, probably dropped a couple pounds.
It happens.
He'll be back by Thursday, back to 196, 197. You have to ask yourself why these things are popping up. Why? This coaching staff's supposed to be an all-star coaching staff.
Yeah.
Are they not giving him the tutelage? Are they not giving him the insight, the fixes, the answers that he needs? The offensive personnel was put together, had to be with the idea of giving him what he needed, right? That's why they brought in multiple wide receivers in free agency, a running back the highest paid in free agency. That's why they drafted these offensive linemen. It was all, are they not getting the job done? And then how much of it falls on him? And how much of it falls on him? I'm not worried about his outlook, right? I saw him giving the speech on the sideline, getting everybody together. I'm not worried about his stick-to-itiveness. I'm not worried about his work ethic. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm worried on, is he going to fix the right things? Because now we're a month in, and some of the problems we saw maybe peeking out around the corner in week 1 are full-fledged problems in week 5.
Do you think this is a byproduct of what's around him?
It could be.
In terms of like play calling? Because,
like,
for example, maybe he's trying to do too much.
Absolutely.
Like in his head, like you mentioned, holding on the ball too long at times or maybe bailing too quickly. Does he feel like he has to do too much because of what's around him? That easily can happen to a young quarterback.
Absolutely. And that's where I'm
that
talking
to a veteran quarterback too.
That's where I'm talking about, like, everybody gets their share of the pie. Right? The play callers, whether it's Reich, whoever is in his ear giving him insight.
It's Reich.
Well, obviously he's the play caller, but I'm saying whoever's making suggestions.
Sure.
Like, somebody needs to get in that headset and go, hey, how about we try this?
Yeah.
Right? How about we it's play callers, yes. Teammates, yes. Bryce, yes. The fact of the matter is, when you draft a quarterback number 1 overall, every decision in your franchise is made with what is the best for his development. All of it. So the fact that he's not developing at the rate you want, or that more problems keep popping up, that's not just a detriment. That's not a knock on just Bryce. It's everyone. Literally everyone. So yeah, know where the panic button is, Carolina Panthers fans.